Alrighty, welcome, guys, to how we're trying to continue the road to 150 eliminators. Um, Hopefully, you may have seen what's been going on my X account, where the internet here has this very strange like slowdown on on the upload speed. So the streaming's been tough, and that's been being a problem for the underdog fast drafts when I've been trying to do them at the same time. I'm not quite sure why it's a problem. It's really freaking annoying that it's a problem. Um, but I will be doing 150 eliminators, and I want to chronicle them. And this is the best way I know how, which is go through twice a day, 3 times a day. I'm not sure how often I'll have to do it. There'll probably be like a nighttime stream, first thing in the morning stream, and maybe a midday stream if I get worried. And I at least for this first stream, I want to have a topic to talk about as I'm going through these picks, because I think that there's a lot of when you're doing the fast drafts, you get a lot of interesting individual spots, and you don't always get to talk about all of them and like what your overall strategy and standpoint is for a lot of these things. And I think going through a bunch of slows really allows you to actually talk through these spots and be interested in them, and have some a bit more intentionality behind it. So we're gonna lean into that because we have to, because that's what we got, and hopefully it still provides value to you guys. I mean, we were 57 eliminators in before we had to do this, a little bit less, I think, and I think if not for the internet, I think it would have been able to be done. It would have been tight, but I think it would have been able to be done. I think it's really frustrating. Hopefully, I'm in a better spot next year, and you best believe next year, if it's an option, I will be right back on the horse, trying to do this, do it again, do it better. It's funny looking at old teams. I mean, this is probably a team I would draft today. Hurts, Willis, Bijan, Javante, Warren, Jones, Helani, Luther Burden. Maybe not today. Maybe I drafted this team yesterday. Great value on Debo there. Probably a little bit thin at tight end. But, yeah. So, we're going to go ahead and go through. Oh, I wanted to make sure I had my updated exposures. So, when the psychic is telling me that, I actually have the correct information. So, round one stands. So if we're looking at my ranks right now, you can see my big round one stands are, I'm taking Genty ahead of ADP, Taylor ahead of ADP, and this 12 spot is very fluid because I'm taking a very anti-James Cook stand. That's where I'm at right now. These rankings are a little bit stale. Just for the first and second round, I'm going to quickly re-rank on the fly just to make sure that I'm really where I believe everything should be. I think I have finally come around to Gibbs over Bijan as the 101. To some extent. I think that Bijan's going to be relied upon a heavier percentage of his team's yards and touchdowns. I just think that Detroit's offense is going to be so much better that even between that and the later bye, he's still worthy of being the 101. But I don't want to have huge stands on either one of them. So I'm happy to just keep them in order. I think I honestly like Nakua better than Chase. But due to both ADP and the Week 11 bye being really problematic on the way back, I'm very comfortable with having these first 4 picks by ADP. Let's make sure I'm actually doing the Eliminator. Yep. And now here's my first big disagreement. And something I really want to think about is I want to be pushing these round one running backs up the board when I'm at all interested in them. And I am interested in McCaffrey. So I think putting him back ahead of JSN is a no-brainer. The question is, do I put him ahead of Nakua? And I think the answer is unfortunately no. I would love to have a more interesting stand there. But I think that there is a big difference between Chase and Puka and the rest of the receivers. And I think CMC is a good place to have that bridge. And as I've been listening to Gretsch more, I've been like begrudgingly more in on Jonathan Taylor. Not so much that I'm going to not be trying to be underweight him, but not so much where he's a full fade. There's more passing game upside than I thought there was, especially as a lot of Colts receivers are, going down with injury or just don't have as big of a role as they used to. I think that I need to adjust my Jonathan Taylor ranking a little bit just to understand that he's going to have more of the work than I initially expected. Yeah. Feels weird, but I'm tempted to nuke JSN even more. Like, I've been ahead of market on him for a while, and there's no real reason that I can give to why I'm feeling more bearish on him right now. Like, I'm not able to really point to a different person in the Seattle passing game where I think is going to be more interesting. The running backs have obviously gotten worse. I believe a lot less in the Seahawks offense than last year under Kubiak. The Week 11 bye is really frustrating at that point in time, which is why I'm considering putting JSN here. I think it would be very hard for me to put Ashton Genty in front of JSN. But with my renewed feelings about Taylor, I think Amon-Ra is a really good eliminator receiver. And the bye week lines up a little bit better with the way that you want to be building receiver rooms if you're going for these 2 wide receiver starts. I'm of the opinion that this is probably where I would want for this to be. And JSN is just going to have to fall because of it. In the same sort of way, CeeDee Lamb, I'm getting more into. I think a lot of his stuff really doesn't conflict with George Pickens as much as people think. And it's just an exciting receiver on a great offense. And I'm more confident in that than I am in JSN. Am I really ranking CeeDee Lamb ahead of JSN? I think I am. And I want to be getting more CeeDee Lamb. I've been underexposed to him, and I think that he's a real target for me. And yeah, I think Justin Jefferson behind JSN, I think they're more similar in my mind. Offenses that I'm less confident on, but I think we'll still be above league average. I think JJ is a better receiver, but I think the Seattle offense will probably be better. Maybe I do just put JSN behind Genty and just say I'm kind of fading JSN from this point. I think that may be correct. The other thing is these running backs. I'm trying to be in on Chase Brown, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. I need to nuke him. He is just Javonte. He's just Javonte. And I can't get out of my mind that he's anything other than just poor man's Javonte Williams. I'm definitely too high on neighbors. I overcorrected because I have almost no neighbors in this contest, and I should not be taking him ahead of players that are really good because he still has decent equity to not be in the very beginning of the season. ETN being nuked, I want a huge bag of ETN if I can get him in the late 4th. I saw him going in the late 4th. I think it was in a BBM style contest. It may have been an Eliminator style contest, and I'm just that's crazy. Yeah, and I think Pickens is probably a good place where it's with the Flowers injury and the neighbors stuff, he probably goes up. But yeah, definitely Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. These running backs need to be ahead of. But I'm kind of curious if I want this to be the actual rankings. And I think I do. I'm still very into these elite tight ends compared to market, especially McBride. Oh, and Jeremiah Love, I'm even more out on. Just because Algier's a real guy. Algier's a guy. And I am more confident in just saying with my chest, Algier is an actual hurdle that Love is going to have to break through. And I've been muted, haven't I? I feel pretty confident that I've been muted up to this point. Let's check that. there's some things I love about these headphones. There are some things that I do not. Um, yeah, let's take a look. Oh, great. No, I haven't. That's wonderful. Sometimes the button just is completely irrelevant. That's great. Um, yeah, I feel pretty good about these rankings here. Pretty big fade on JSN. Reasonable stands on these running backs. James Cook. I think I'm still good with being out at cost, but not just like ridiculously out on. So like maybe put him back here. I think Kenneth Walker can really like these guys are Barkley, Henry, Walker, Cook are like a different tier from Hampton, HN. Maybe that's where I put Bowers because I'm trying to get more Bowers. I really think that he can just gap the tight end position, and as I've said many times before, like the way that he just impacts roster construction is just so useful. So I think pulling him up there works. Oh no, I forgot Hampton's schedule. As much as I'm not a huge fan of Hampton, yeah, the profile, I am really a fan of Hampton's schedule and what's going on with him. So we'll keep him there. And maybe I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with these receivers here. I definitely like London over AJ Brown. I cannot believe that AJ Brown's ahead in ADP. I think that that's silly. Nico Collins is like very similar to both of those guys to me. Yeah, I feel pretty confident with this through the first couple of rounds. So we'll go ahead and save that. If you have any, you think I'm going crazy, let me know. I don't think I've been particularly heavily invested in Burden. I did see that was happening, and I've been pretty out on the Bears in general. But we can always just take a quick look see, because yeah, that's something that's quite big. For my eliminators, 2.8%. Yeah, pretty out on him. I think I have more Loveland. Yeah, I have even more Loveland than I do, but I've been pretty like okay on a Dunze. So obviously, again, never rooting for injuries, but it's pretty decent for my stuff if Burden is not performing. How's it going, Willis? Yeah, I been relegated to these slow draft ranking streams, but we're trying to have a good time with it still. I want to, keep with the intentionality of it. But yeah, no, it's I'm happy with that. I think in non-eliminators, I'm a bit more invested in Burden. Yeah, I mean $24, 5.9%. Never in a big stuff, but I've been taking more, like some little Dalmatians and stuff. I hope he's fine. I think that this Bears offense is really interesting, but obviously the big one that hurt me is Zay. I've been, I think, touting Zay for a while. I think that, oh, well, not in the Eliminator. I feel like I've been taking a lot of Zay, but maybe that's, sometimes what we feel is happening, what's actually happening is not the same. Maybe it's more in these style contests. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but even then, that's not 11% is not a huge stand. Because although I think Zay's injury, from what I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, he had like a minor groin strain. I'm not sure if it's anything to be super worried about, but it was enough that I was like, please, no, not my boy. Because I have him on some keeper home league teams that I'm in as well, that I'm planning on having him be my keeper. Because I've been a Zay guy for the past couple of years. I mean, you just look at his low touchdowns and my philosophy on touchdowns normalizing, and you can really understand why I think Zay is like really primed for a breakout in this new offense. But he's also getting drafted like he's primed for a breakout. Like he's been in the fourth and fifth round the past couple of years, and him being in the middle of the third is pretty expensive. But I do like it. But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with where my rankings are for round one. I think just going to the big topic. Yeah, I think he's going to be fine, but it was a bit scary. Oh, and Downs. I think Downs was the other one. I saw that there was something that went on, but I don't remember what was going on with. Yeah, he's got a groin injury as well, and left the practice, which obviously is not great. But again, I think that one's supposed to be relatively minor. So, yeah, I mean, the other joy about this is I get to talk about the French Eliminator. Quad contusions, nothing. Love to hear it. Yeah, I am really not an injury bro. Like I really don't know a lot about the medical stuff, so it's always a little bit scary just like hearing about the injury stuff because there's a lot of the stuff that I do know about, but knowing quad contusion versus a pulled groin versus like ACL and Achilles stuff, like obviously I get some sort of understanding, but not to the degree that I can really be confident talking about it. Those are three good players that I'm hoping are okay because they're very, very interesting players and prospects. But yeah, this first round, I think if we're looking back at this first round, let's see if there's any that I have the one I wanted. Yeah, great. So we can use this to make it easy to look at the exposures that I have. So 11% Gibbs, 11% Bijan is something I am really happy with. I think that I want to be able to weight both of these guys. If it comes at the expense of Jamar Chase, I believe that it's kind of a so be it moment. I really like capping my exposure in the first round at 16% of a player. Like I'm happy to be double the field on a player, but really don't want to be too much more than that. But I am okay with zeroing out players. Like, where's James Cook? I think I have literal 1% James Cook. He's not even showing up, which is really funny. But yeah, I have like 1% James Cook. I'm not necessarily trying to be out on Chase with this 4%, but I don't hate it. Same thing with Taylor. Amon-Ra, I definitely want to pump those numbers up. But yeah, just sort of having a bunch of people slightly above in the like 10 to 15% range, and then a couple of people that is like 3 to 4 feels really good in the first and second rounds because unlike previous years, we don't have these profiles where you're just like, I can't imagine how this guy does anything. Like, it takes a while before you're down to people where I'm like, this guy has like legitimate zero risk or legitimate just like getting dusted by a teammate risk. I think like Judkins is maybe the first pick that I'd be like, or like this Judkins Irving Tootin place where I could be like, yeah, they just get mogged by someone else on their team. They're just bad, which is stuff I'm trying to avoid. But yeah, I think a lot of these picks are going to be pretty simple. I think we're at the number 2. We have Bijan. I want to continue trying to get overweight Bijan. We pick Bijan. Feels really nice. Here we're at in the French Eliminator 2. We're at pick 15. We started with CeeDee Lamb. My ranks say JJ. Sidekick says Barkley. It's not bad to get Barkley up, but it's also nice to really be interested in these 2 wide receiver starts with different buys. I really like them. Like just locking down those positions feels really good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab JJ there. French Eliminator 2 again. We're in the second round here. We took – who did we take with our first pick? Puka. Between London and Collins for me. I'm already pretty far overweight on Collins. And yeah, as you see, like going into the second and third round, I'm much more comfortable taking big stands. Like I'm Javonte, my boy. But yeah. I think that's a lot easier of a stance to have. Let me bring up what Christopher's saying here. I think this is true to some extent. There's a lot of FUD happening, a lot of injury FUD, a lot of nonsense. Yeah, I think a lot of these guys don't really have a big reason to fall. Evans, like minor quad injury, we're not really worried about that. Is that Travion? We knew he wasn't going to be running with the ones. That's not what you're drafting him based off of. So it's a bit strange to be super locked into that. I'm assuming this is this Ted or Jalen McMillan? I haven't really been drafting a bunch of Jalen McMillan just because of my belief on the Bucks offense not being great. And same with one guy, like Jalen McMillan's just like kind of off my board. I just don't think that role is going to be particularly useful. And one guy is like whatever, hit or miss. This Bears backfield is interesting, but all those guys are like not really don't really have anything super credible that tells you that they need to go, that there's a problem. So yeah, I don't get them falling, but sometimes these things, the market just decides. Okay, whatever, dude. Nobody cares. Like yes, pass blocking is important, but I don't think it's going to like completely keep him off the field if he's as electric as he's shown that he has the capability to be. And it's certainly not over one report. But yeah, we'll take Drake London here. I think it was close. I think leaning to the player that I have less exposure to is probably good if I'm honestly considering both of them. I'm not even going to wait. That's just Bijan. This is just Gibbs. This is just Bijan. Like, these are all really easy. This is just Gibbs. We're here in the in the third, actually. We started Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devon Achane, and we get a bit of a fall on Trey McBride near Neighbors. But I definitely think Trey McBride's the pick here. It's a little bit late for what I've been talking about, but McBride's just really nice. I mean, is it? I feel like Jacobs gets hurt a decent amount and plays through it. Like, I think there's a lot of question marks around Jacobs right now. I think it has me more interested in Marshawn Lloyd than it scares me about Jacobs. Like, sure, he's old. Sure, he's got a lot of carries, but I think he's not like that old. He's like, what, 28? It's either 28 or 29, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's 28. He's old, but he's not like Derrick Henry old. And I think if people heard Derrick Henry got a groin injury, they would be like, whatever, he'll be fine. But he's expected to be back in 2 weeks. He'd be fine. Yeah. And this is part of the reason why I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit like, sure, it's not great for Jacobs, but much more interested in going, okay, Marshawn Lloyd, you'll probably have something here. At some point in time, maybe later, that we'll be interested in. But yeah, so we'll grab Trey McBride here. And I'll keep an eye on the Josh Jacobs thing. I don't think it'll influence anything tonight, but I may have to be aware of it for some future picks streams. I think, again, easy Bijan. I think a lot of the harder decisions are going to come later in the round, but when you get the 1.2, 1.3, it's pretty simple. Also, the 1.12, I think, is pretty simple. You take Justin Jefferson and your choice of running backs. Right now, my flavor has been Walker, but it can be Barkley, it can be Henry, it can be Walker. I want to get overweight Walker, so I'm going to continue to pound him, I think. Frenchie Eliminator. We get Chase at 4. I think that's a slam dunk. Bijan at 2. Pretty simple. All right, we're here at 6. This is probably the big one. Where it's finally like, okay, not taking JSN here and going Amon Ra is against the grain, but I think it is. I really do think it is correct. Oh my gosh, Anchor Dragon, it's good to see you, sir. It's good to see you. You having a little short stream today, trying to do what I was talking about in the X profile, just to keep things all running. Yeah, and Lloyd has been just talked about so much, like that he's doing really, really well. And we thought that he can do really, really well if he's not injured, but he's injured a lot. And past injuries do not predict future injuries, except for a little bit. They kind of do. Yeah, we'll grab Amon Ra here. And this bad boy, grab Amon Ra again, get my 6th ranked player at pick 9. Feels pretty nice. Bump that up. Oh my god, I haven't seen this badge. I presume this is like one of the highest badges. The pink one. That's crazy. Yeah, guess this guy no life more than most of us, which is good. I'm gonna wait and do the last couple second rounders later. But yep, pretty simple for these other ones. I'm really getting a lot of 1.2s, which I'm not gonna complain about getting more Bijan. I love my boy Bijan, but getting a lot of 1.2s. JCR3 I think is pretty simple. Believe in the Lions. Amon Ra at 2. Sorry, not Amon Ra at 2. Not doing that. Bijan at 2. Once again. Shout out to Steve-O Speak. I believe that is the account of the FanSpeak Network. At least one half of it. Good to see you. We're gonna have some fun with that. If we legitimately have 3 people back to back YouTubers talking about that, it's great. Yeah, got to speedrun some slows. I got a party that I'm hosting that is like about to start. So I'm gonna quickly bang these out and then go downstairs. So obviously a very short stream today, I must say. But yeah, I am enjoying. I think it is actually quite fun to fire these up. Just have a little like topic, talk about, do it for 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, chat about stuff, look at the ranks, do some slows, do it a couple times a day. Just keep up with it. Well, hopefully it's fun and hopefully it works out so I can keep all these going. And the hope is that I space them out so I'll have different picks throughout the draft as we go. But obviously can only control that so much as the fill rate happens. Yeah. I love the Bijan Drake London start. I mean, I don't love having to bet on the Atlanta offense, but getting to correlate your rank and wide receiver 1 feels really nice. In this contest. I mean, if you're going to give me a little bit of fall on edge here, take it. Get a receiver in this room. Get a running back in the room with JSN. And 1.11. Yeah, I think we're happy to take CeeDee Lamb here. We'll probably get a running back on the come around. If not, we'll take Jefferson and be super happy with it. But yeah, it's a lot of first round picks. A lot of thoughts on stuff. I don't know. There's something about it where it doesn't take that long, and I have the time. It's nice, and I need to get 150 of these in so I can beat Kurt Rambis. Very important. And I want to be able to stream them all, and this way I'm not worried about anything going on. But much respect to you for giving them up. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by, Angry Dragon Christopher, probably my mother. Anyone else who stops by and watches this, it's very important. I appreciate understanding with the internet situation, and I got to win. And I don't even really care that much if I win the Eliminator, if I actually win the contest. But I do have to beat Kurt Rambis. That is very important to me. That is like an emotional important thing for me. So I'm gonna work hard to try and do that. So thank you guys. I'm gonna go downstairs, have some fun with my castmates, and I will be back probably tomorrow morning with another batch of slows. See you soon.